Okay, welcome back to After Effects number 2 with Mrs. Schneid. I'm going to show you today how to do the different transitions between your movie clips and how to export. So you saw something similar in the last video, just how the layout of After Effects works. Now I'm going to show you how to actually do some transitions and things. Down here, this is your workspace where you're going to be doing most of your things you want to do. Over here is your timeline, which you'll need to follow very well too. So let's go over here. You'll see that there's these little arrows. The little arrows are going to help you to find things. So we're going to click on this one right here, and down pops, more things that you can do. So I'm going to click on the one that says transform, and this is going to give me all my different things that I can do between, let me get different transitions between clips. I'm going to show you how they work, but it's just a matter of playing around with them to see how they work. So we have anchor point, position, scale, rotation, and opacity. I'm going to start with opacity. Opacity is how something can start off dark and then it gets lighter, going from one transition to the next. This is a nice one to do, and you can make it nice and smooth. So let me show you how to do this one first. What I want to do is start this off pitch black, this video, and then it'll eventually come in to be brighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this is a stopwatch. I'm going to click on this. This sets what's called a keyframe. You'll see a yellow little triangle or a diamond that popped up over here. And wherever my current time indicator is, if I change the number right here where it says 100 and move this, it's gonna create a new time frame indicator. So if you watch this, if you click on here and scroll over it and move it down, all of a sudden it created a new time frame indicator. Now this isn't what I want. It started off bright and now it's getting darker. But I want to do it a little bit different. So I'm going to click on both of these, highlight them, and hit delete. I'm going to move my time frame indicator back over to the beginning. And now I'm going to start my opacity. I'm going to go ahead and start this at 0 because I want it to be pitch black to start. Now I'm going to go ahead and set my stopwatch, sets a keyframe over here, and I'm going to move it up to about 5 seconds. At 5 seconds, I'd like it to be at 100% brightness. It's regular color. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on this and scroll it over to 100%. And then if I move this back over here to the beginning, my current time indicator, this just tells you where you're at, where you're working. You'll see it slowly. That's one transition. You need to try all of these in this for After Effects number 1. The rotation, if you go ahead and set this, you can click on if you go on the second number and scroll it left and right, it'll twist it and turn it. If you click on the first one, that's how many times you want it to spin. I'm going to put it at 0, and I'm going to move this back to 0. Oops. I think you can just click on it too, and you click 0, enter. So take us back to 0. I want it to start at 0, and then about, right around here, I'm going to have it twist. And then I'm going to scroll my current time indicator up a little bit. And then I'm going to go to the first frame. I'm just going to copy this. You can go up to Edit, Copy, or just hit Command C. And now I'm going to go Command V, and it's going to paste it right there. Or you can go Edit, Paste, and it'll paste it. As long as the yellow is highlighted, so this one I copied, even though my current time indicator wasn't over there, as long as it was highlighted yellow, it's going to copy that number, whatever that number was for where that one started. So now what it's going to do is it's going to start me off. Sometimes the current time indicator lags a little bit, so you have to have patience with the program. If you want to watch it in full speed, you can hit the space bar. What it has to do is it has to ram through, so it takes a little while. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to hit the space bar again. The other thing you can do is you can do the RAM preview, and that'll do, it kind of does the same thing, but it goes from the beginning.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't need to do that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it so that I can just see what I'm working on. So if you go to the second bar in your workspace over in the timeline, I can shorten this. Bring my time frame indicator over to this area. Go through, it's finding all the transitions, finding all the effects that you've done to it. It takes a little bit of time, definitely more patience than other programs, but in the end you're going to get better, really cool effects and different things that you can do with it. So you'll see it rotate. And then once it gets to this little bar, it should snap back the other way and start going back to normal. When I don't want to wait, if I'm trying to work on something, if you just click on your actual time frame indicator and scroll over it, usually you can see the effect happening and that I can actually see it. Unless there's something really specific that you're looking for or trying to do, then I would definitely do this too when you're working on something specific in a movie. And as you can see, it's starting to move back to its regular way. So I'm going to stop it and I'm going to move on. I'm just going to go ahead and move my time frame indicator up. And now we're going to move on to the next transition. The next one would be scale. Scale is, it allows us to make something smaller and bigger. So if you wanted to start off a scene where it's really small and then all of a sudden it gets really large and fills up the screen, you can do that. So what we're going to do is, you can see, if you move this number, we'll start it off really small. I'm going to set my keyframe. You have to set a keyframe to start. The only thing is you have to go to the back, go back here, and what happened is it changed it for all of it at the beginning. Even though I don't want it to start till right here, I have to do one right before it at 100 at regular. It's regular scale. So I'm going to move it back up. Oops, and I went to negative, so I have to go the other way. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that there, back at its regular number. So I'm going to set one there. It should, the beginning now should be fine. Okay, so it's now it's large still. And then once it gets over here, it should get smaller. It quickly will get smaller. And then I'm going to go ahead and make it gradually get bigger when it gets out here. Give it a few seconds. And the nice thing with After Effects is it'll set the numbers for you, or the smooth transitions for you, which is nice. So now if you scroll back over this, you can see it's big, it gets small, and then all of a sudden it's going to bring us into a regular screen slowly. The next one is position. Position is like if you wanted to slide your movie onto the screen, opposed to it just being there to start. You could do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and set a keyframe for it to be at regular to start. I'll move up a little bit, and then I'm gonna play with my numbers here. So now what you can do is you can click and scroll this so it's way over, or you can move it up and down. Okay, I'm gonna do one of them. I'm just gonna slide it from the left to the right. So move it all the way off the screen. And then I'll scroll this up. And I'm going to copy this number where it was originally, Command C and Command V. And on over here. We can see it should start off normal, hopefully. Yes. Okay, starts off normal. And it's slowly working its way off the screen. And then it's going to slowly come back onto the screen. The last one is anchor point. Anchor point is just where, like, let's play with that. It's kind of similar to what you just did with the other one, except now, like, you're playing with the center. So if I wanted my center to all be based around Jake's head, I could make the whole thing rotate based on that. Oops. Command Z. Keep Command Z. I was pushing the wrong button. But now if I go to like my rotation, when it rotates, no, I have to move that one. Oops. Let me go back to my anchor point. I'm not really sure. Let me delete those ones. Oops, can I see that? I need to keep one of those. Okay, you don't have to really do anchor point because that one's not as simple as these ones. Basically what an anchor point's supposed to do is allow you to move the point, and then like everything should be able to rotate around Jake's head. So like the whole thing should spin if I rotated it, but with him being the anchor, the thing that stays steady. But it wasn't really doing that. So I'd have to play with that a little bit more, but so don't worry about doing anchor point, but make sure you get the other four in. And then you just need to export it. So let me show you how to properly export. What you do is you're going to need to make sure that this is your work area. Anything from yellow to yellow is what I'm going to export out. So I'm going to open this up because I want to export from this first beginning keyframe, and then I'm going to stretch it all the way to my last keyframe. Okay, I want all that so that you can get all your points. And now we're going to go ahead and export. So there's a couple things you have to do. You have to go to composition. You have to go to add to render queue. Down at the bottom, you're going to have to click on two separate things. The first one is where you're going to save it. So if you click on this one, yours might say not yet specified, but it should be in yellow. Once it pops up, you're just going to tell it to save it to your desktop and then title it. So we'll call this After Effects Practice number 2 with your name on it. And I want to go to my desktop, hit save, and you'll see the title pop up there. Next, I'm going to click on Lossless. This is telling it what format I want to actually save it in. The first thing you need to do is click a check mark on this audio output. If you want your sound to show up, you need to click audio. I want to be able to see that you can do that in this one. Then you have to go over to format options. We need to change this. Right now it always starts in animation mode, but we want it to be a little bit smaller of a file. So we're going to change it to the H.264. And then click OK. And then OK. And now we're going to render it out. So you're going to click the render button. And what's going to happen is you have this little timeline that's going to show up. And it'll start working its way across. You'll see a little yellow bar that shows up all the way across. When it's done, you'll hear it chime. It'll come all the way to the side. And you'll hear a little cha-ching, and it'll be on your desktop. And all you have to do is Dropbox that to me, and that is After Effects practice number 1. I'll be back on again for After Effects practice number 2 in just a moment.
What is
I hope it recorded it. I'm just a minute. I'm trying to do a video for my students to help them.
all of them? Just the one?